Disturbing new details are emerging about little Oakley Carlson, who is still missing in Grays Harbor County. The sheriff's office now says there is no independent evidence that anyone has seen her alive in at least a year. KOMO's Keith Eldridge reports from Oakville.
You all know why we're here. We're here to celebrate 5-year-old Oakley.
A candlelight vigil tonight in Oakville, a vigil of hope that Oakley Carlson will be found. But as people made their way through town, comes the startling word that no adult has reported seeing her over the past year.
So we are really trying to find somebody that can tell us the last time they saw her alive. And so if anybody has that information, and at this point, we're going back over a year trying to find when she's been last seen by an adult that we can verify.
That blows my mind. How?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. Like we heard the same thing, and it was just like, how is it possible that no adults other than her parents that we know of have seen her in over 12 months?
Jamie Joe and Eric Hiles were Oakley's foster parents up until 2 years ago, when CPS gave Oakley back to her parents, Jordan Bowers and Andrew Carlson, with CPS saying they'd monitor for a few months.
They said 6 months. They were going to check for 6 months. That's that is not enough time. We had her for, well over 2 years, and the 6 months they were able to check a couple of boxes, and they were okay. Within the 6 months, we're done. Never checked her again.
CPS says it can't comment for privacy reasons. And so the candles are out, the hope is there, and what they really want is to make sure that Oakley's picture remains out in front so that people can take.
Tonight, neighbors are reacting with fear and frustration after another shooting in King County, this time involving 2 children, including a 2-year-old.
Police responded to a shots fired call at 144th and Tukwila International Boulevard around 1 a.m. Moments later, a car showed up at Highline Hospital with the 2 victims. And this just in, we obtained video from that shooting where you can see the shots fired and the alleged gunman take off. KOMO's Michelle Esteban is live in Tukwila. And Michelle, that video is disturbing and telling.
Mary, it is indeed. You realize that this happened in seconds. In fact, so quickly that when police arrived here on scene, there was nobody here. And this sadly confirms what we thought all along, that this 2-year-old right now struggling for his life was caught in the crossfire. And we want to warn you that this video we're about to show you for some may be considered difficult or graphic to watch.
It happened in an instant. 1 minute a man is pumping gas, the next shots fired, and it's captured on a gas station security cam. Minutes prior, you see the same man inside the store. The shots came after he heads to the pump. We see another car come into frame. It stops mid-street. Then you hear a whistle. Then multiple shots. We know that toddler in one of the vehicles caught in the crossfire.
It just touches your heart. It hurts really bad because I have grandkids,
Mildred Austin is so discouraged by news of what happened here last night.
We get a lot of crime in here, but I don't feel like no child should be subjected to that.
Mildred doesn't want to reveal her face, but wants her voice and concerns heard.
It's not safe anymore.
Outside her window, she heard the shots, but when she looked outside, nothing. Same goes for Tukwila police, who were on the scene today. They responded to multiple shots fired calls. All they found were shell casings. They'd soon learn the 17-year-old and toddler pulled into Highline Hospital. Their gunshot wounds so severe, they were transported to Harborview.
It's just very sad. It's sad that it affected somebody.
Deanna Baker is a barista at Mighty Mugs, a stone's throw from the shooting scene. They were closed when it happened.
I see a lot around here, but I've never seen it like something bad happened to somebody.
The bloodshed, just the latest in a rash of gun violence in South King County cities. From Tukwila and 6 other cities in between, including Kent, where 3 shootings happened in the same area last month, all believed to be drug-related. Today, Tukwila police posted a message to the community on Facebook, emphasized the shooting appears to be isolated, not a random act of violence, and described it and other shootings as brazen, violent criminal behavior. Shocking. That cannot be allowed.
That toddler remains in critical condition tonight. That 17-year-old has been upgraded from serious condition to satisfactory. And I can also tell you all the city leaders in these South King County communities, including their police departments, collaborating, working together on strategies, including here in Tukwila, Federal Way, and Kent as well, where they're all working on emphasis patrols, extra officers in various areas, particularly these areas where we're seeing more crime.
over a year, the Project Seattle team has been highlighting this troubled homeless encampment behind a school in Seattle. And tonight, that encampment is no more. In just a matter of hours, the city removed the camp, which stood behind Broadview Thomson K-8 school, reaching the waters of Bitter Lake. KOMO's Cole Miller is on the ground there live with the latest on the efforts and the next steps. Cole?
Hey there, Eric. Crews began working early this morning. That continued throughout the afternoon. And to say this space has been transformed tonight would be a bit of an understatement. That work, it was completed a little more than an hour ago. As we know, this was once littered with garbage and tents. A majority of the people that were living here, they have since moved into shelters or temporary transitional housing. But not everyone left or took those offers. And now work will begin on restoring this area. As you can see, it is surrounded by fencing on all sides. For the last 6 months, this has been Joshua Johnston's home.
The whole place has just been trashed.
And at its peak, dozens of others. Today, the tents are being torn down and crews are hauling away the trash left behind at that once massive encampment behind Broadview Thomson.
I'm glad to see it all coming to an end here because it just would just keep getting worse.
Johnston says he doesn't have anything lined up as to where he'll go next. He says he's not a fan of shelters. 23 people who once stayed here are now living at Friendship Heights, the city's newest tiny house village.
I'll just be staying in the car for a few days and making phone calls.
The property, which is owned by Seattle Public Schools, is now fenced off.
We gotta do the hard work.
Neighbors had become irate at the back and forth between the district and the city as to how this situation would be addressed.
I think there's a lot of politicians who just don't want to face the problems that they've been assigned and elected to take care of.
And with cleanup having wrapped up, Mike Mathias, who was once with the volunteer group Anything Helps, is accused of asking women at the camp to inject him with meth, threatening to take away their housing vouchers if they didn't. He's also accused of using funding to buy drugs for himself and others. And the district had given him $5,000 for the outreach efforts in moving people to Tiny House Village. And I did speak with Mathias over the phone tonight. He tells me he denies those allegations. As for SPS and its relationship with him, the district tells me it is aware of those allegations and will investigate if needed. In the meantime, this park, this area here where that encampment once stood, we're told it could be reopened by the middle of next month.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for checking out our YouTube page. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell from the KOMO Weather Team. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for additional news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the